That radio chick Cheryl Lee here. Welcome to the Still Rocking It podcast, where we'll have music, news reviews and interviews with some of our favourite Australian musicians and artists. Deborah Conway has never been one to shy away from provocation. Across 4 decades in the Australian music landscape, from Do Re Mi's 80s heydays to her ARIA award-winning solo career, platinum and gold album collaborations with her longtime creative and life partner Willy Zygier, Deborah has remained steadfastly unwilling to play it safe. Their new album, titled Right-Wing Propaganda, Songs You Can Trust, was released on her 66th birthday. It's the couple's 11th album together and was self-produced from the couple's Melbourne home studio. No session musicians, no auto-tuning, no studio polish, just guitars and voices. It's both timeless and timely, an album that asks whether music still matters in a world of infinite content. Welcome to being a fly on the wall during the television interview for Rider TV, complete with a microphone mishap with a tissue, with Deborah Conway, and then a surprise from Deborah and Willy at the end. To catch up on podcasts from other favourite artists, simply go to thatradiochick.com.au.
I'm rolling and feeding, so ready?
You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Rider TV. I'm so pleased to introduce you to Deborah Conway, who's joining us at Crabtree Studios today, coming to Adelaide for 3 shows. We're so pleased to have you in our town. Thank you so
Lovely
much.
to be here.
Yeah. We've got a brand new album that came out a month or so ago, and your beautiful daughters appeared with you on that album. Because I'm going to ask you about your family DNA. When did you pick up a guitar and decide that guitar, music was your thing?
Oh, I think I decided music was my thing way before I picked up a guitar. The guitar was like an add-on sort of further down the track. I was 18 when I first got a guitar.
That's right.
It's late. It's actually very late. And consequently, I have always been a very, less than moderately talented guitar player. I mean, I can keep the beat and I can write a song, and Willy does all the fantastic fancy stuff, and I just,
sing along.
I am is the base upon which he elaborates those beautiful musical fantasies on top. But yeah, musically, I always knew that I wanted to sing and perform. I loved performing. I loved to entertain people, and that's kind of been something I think I've done from like the age of 4 or something like that. So yeah.
So you were born with it.
As much as one can be born with something like that, yes, I felt very strongly that that pull. But like lots of kids do that too. Yes. I mean, that's a kind of a standard kid thing. You want to, get up in the room and just sing for everybody, or dance. Not that I was ever much of a dancer. Not that it stopped me, but I think that's kind of a natural thing. And then, I joined a band at 20, earlier really, but my first kind of formal band at 20, and that's what I wanted to do.
Because you're not necessarily from a musical family. Dad was a lawyer, and in fact, he wasn't too happy about you joining a band initially, was he?
That's true, but he was in fact very musical. Oh. He didn't pursue, and he studied it. He grew up in the UK and in Leeds actually, and he was accepted into RADA, which is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, famously, and he was accepted, and then they came out after World War II, and to make his parents happy, he became a lawyer.
Right.
And I think his attempts, if I really think about it, I think his attempts to dissuade me from a musical career, he was concerned.
He didn't want you to be a starving artist.
He was concerned. Well, he wasn't a starving artist. He was a successful barrister, solicitor. We were a nice middle class Jewish family, and that was absolutely unheard of. That his daughter would join a rock and roll band. What about the sex and the drugs? I said, that's right. The bonuses. But look, he was fine. He was very emotional when I I turned around and gave him my first gold record. He wept.
Oh.
But yes, he did initially send me to a psychiatrist.
Right.
To make sure that everything was okay. And we decided it was my father who had the problem.
Yeah, his problem, not yours.
But it was fine. He was fine with my choices in the end. I
Good. Well, clearly you've got some musical talent and artistry
Thanks,
in your
Cheryl.
DNA. A little bit.
My mother was the only person in her, she tells me, I don't know if about that proudly, but she tells me that she was the only person in the school choir that was told to mime. Very, very unfair. They would never do that now.
No. Your husband, Willy, he clearly has it also, and you've passed that DNA down to your three beautiful daughters who appear on this newest album.
Yes.
You're really proud of that?
Yes, absolutely. All three of them have been learning piano since they were 4. We both thought they're going to have some musical talent because both of their parents are musical. It's inevitable. What they do with that is their business, of course. But, just to give them a basis in it, we thought, a good
grounding.
Learning, a good grounding of
Yes.
of piano from an early age would work. And they all, they hated it and then they loved it. And we'd say, you don't have to do it anymore. And they no, we want to do it. It was like...
Don't tell anyone.
It was one of those things, that it was this bargaining, whatever. Anyway, so they can all play the piano. They all sing incredibly well. They're just beautiful singers. And they all three have been have written songs at some point in their life. Sid started really young. She was 16. She had a whole set of songs together. They had a band. They were called the Zigarettes. Or She Said Zed. They were called She Said Zed. And then, Alma later on she was writing songs. And then Hetty, she got a punk band together and she was writing songs too. And they actually had some success in France. They were, they were doing really well. And she had her band, the Pinstripes, and then she was writing solo stuff. Alma is now a jazz singer, has been a jazz singer all along, but she was also dabbling in writing her own material. So she is the one, the middle child, who has gone on to become a professional musician. And as a jazz musician, it actually astounds me that she makes money. It's wonderful.
Wow.
It's wonderful.
Amazing.
And she is wonderful. She's been to Adelaide and has wowed the audiences here too.
Yes.
So
I can see as a mum you are so proud of them all.
Oh, they're so extraordinary. It's the most wonderful social experiment that you could ever embark on. And then they grow up and they're completely independent from you and you've got no idea what they're going to do next. Wonderful.
Yay. How we're going to fit all these years of success and albums and into a quick half an hour. But I thought we might just touch on a couple of things because you've got the memoir. So if everyone wants to know the nitty-gritty, they should get hold of that.
Absolutely.
That is called...
Book of Life.
Book of Life. And that's an audio book also?
It is an audio book, yes.
So get on to that. Mm-hmm. We'll just touch on a couple of the other interesting things. Well, congratulations. Rolling Stone Australia in 88 said you're the best Australian female singer. Mm-hmm. It's a nice accolade. Mm-hmm. And then shortly after that, you worked with Pete Townshend of The Who on a very interesting program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. He was casting around for people to put in his musical adaptation of The Iron Man, which was a Ted Hughes, kind of a novella, I guess. Ted Hughes was the poet laureate, once upon a time married to Sylvia Plath, who famously gassed herself. But at any rate, maybe because of him, I don't know. It's all very scandalous. So he had written this metaphor for... I'm not exactly sure what it's about, honestly.
It's very arty-farty.
It is, how do you explain the Iron Man? There's this great big Iron Man and he eats all the farm machinery and a little boy tries to stop him and then finds out that he's actually very gentle and then there's a space laser dragon that comes down and it's...
The substances involved.
It's enormously complex and I kind of looked at it and went, why would he want to make a musical like this? But anyway, he did.
Yeah.
And apparently, well, not apparently, it was in its first instance a double album. And I think it might have made more sense at that point. But then he
condensed it
down to one album. It didn't make as much sense. I read the book and it didn't make that much sense either, so I'm not sure that he had much of a heart. Sorry. I'm sorry I'm being rude. But anyway, famously cast alongside Nina Simone, John Lee Hooker, and of course Pete Townshend, and recorded in his famous Eel Pie studios. And it was amazing. Plucked from, obscurity, and not entirely obscurity because we had some success in the UK, but we were sharing the same record label. We were both signed to Virgin UK, and he'd seen a clip of Do Re Mi in the managing director of Virgin's office, Simon Draper, and, I had said, I want her. So he got me.
Yeah, what an accolade.
And that was great. And then in the same year, maybe the year after, Michael Nyman also asked me to sing a role. He was the composer for most of Peter Greenaway's films, and this one was Prospero's books, which was a singular interpretation of The Tempest.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing. Well, another very confusing interpretation. But because Sir John Gielgud was playing all of the characters, which he kind of didn't really realise at the beginning. But anyway, it was incredibly sumptuous to look at, beautiful to look at. I was asked to play the role of Juno, the goddess, in the marriage feast. There was Uta Lemper and Mari Angel and myself, and we were wearing these massive Elizabethan collars and fully dressed, unlike the 150, 200 other extras on the set who were completely naked, apart from, the colours that were, pink penises and red arms and green feet and every kind of colour imaginable and a lot of stuff out there waggling around.
Those were the days.
Interesting. It was interesting.
In 1990, you had Draw Cards and Rose Among Thorns, and then in 91, your debut solo album, String of Pearls, won an ARIA, Best Female Artist. Is that where you and Willy met and fell in love? Have been working together ever since?
String of Pearls had been recorded, and I needed a guitar player, or I needed a band, and I'd filled in most of the parts, but the guitar player was proving elusive, and a couple of other musicians, close friends of both of us, recommended Willy. So I gave him a call and I offered him this tour. It was a very substantial tour, probably 9 months worth of dates. It's only the beginning was already out there. It was climbing the charts, and Do Re Mi was a known entity. So he knew who I was, but he said to me, "Oh, look, sorry, I'd love to, but I've got a gig." And I found that so extraordinary and intriguing that he was turning down this enormous block of work for his one gig. So I said, "Okay, no problem," and I hung up. And I thought about it, and I rang the next day and I said, "What if I put up my tour for a few weeks so that you can do your gig?" And he said, "Okay." We arranged to meet at my little flat in East St Kilda, and he turned up at the door and I opened it, and I think there was just that moment, that flash of some deep recognition. Yeah, it was something. It was something very powerful and very strong and unacknowledged by both of us. And, we chatted for a long time, and then he said, "Yes, let's do it." We started rehearsal and we started flirting and started the tour, and we started an affair, which was terrible because we both were with other people, which ended up, we weren't with other people anymore, and we became a couple, and then we started writing songs together, and then we started breeding and had children, and 17 years after that we got married, and 17 years after that again. And I think actually we're about to celebrate our 35th anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Together. So,
That's no mean feat.
No, it's
putting up with each other for that long.
A lot of time together. Like more than most, I would say.
Exactly. You and Willy are going to sing a song in a little while.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on a couple of other things because I really, really love that you did Always, the lead role in Patsy Cline's stage show.
Yeah, that was fun. And actually I write about that in the book because we performed in Adelaide. We were doing our shows in early September here. So I was here on the 12th of September and I woke up to Willy's phone call saying, "You've got to turn the TV on." And I said, what's going on? I turned the TV on.
Can we go back a couple of minutes there? The noise you make on the mic is really extreme.
Which bit do we have to go back to? Where the television on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Willy said, "Pop the telly on." Sorry, that was my fault.
So Willy woke me up on the morning of the 12th of September. He said, "Put the TV on." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Just turn it on." So I turned it on and there was just kids' shows. They weren't broadcasting it in Adelaide. It took me quite a while before I figured out what was going on. And then, of course, the horrific images of the planes going into the World Trade Center and people jumping out the window. It was horrific. It was horrific. We had a show that evening for which people would have bought their tickets months in advance. It was a full house and we were all just so fragile, so emotional, and the songs of Patsy Cline were actually a really beautiful vehicle to spill that emotion out, and it was a kind of a collective hug. I'm sure that the people that were there would have rather been just anywhere else. I mean, I felt the same way as I just wanted to be at home with my kids and my husband, but there we all were, and Patsy was cradling us all in the tragedy of her tale and the beautiful songs that she brought into being. So it was quite a thing. But it was a terrific show, and I loved being able to channel those incredible songs with that extraordinary singer. I
Yeah.
mean, she really is one of the great singers of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And I hope I did her justice.
I think you did. I think you nailed it. Also, something that I think you're very proud of is the Broad Festival project. Yeah, that went for a few years.
Yeah, we did that in 2005, 6, 7, 8. We invited female singer-songwriters from a very broad range of genres, which is where the title broad comes. Well, it was a slang term for women, and also the reference to how very broadly representative the genres of music were. And we put 5 of us together on stage, and we talked about our craft, and we contributed to each other's pieces. And we had the hard rock guitar player with the folky player with a jazzy kind of player, and it was really quite a magical combination of things, and those concerts did really well, and some household names kind of emerged out of it. Kate Miller-Heidke was just a very, very young woman when she did that.
Yes.
So was Claire Bowditch, and Melinda Schneider was somewhat known but not very, and Ella Hooper, who had been in Killing Heidi, was launching a sort of solo career, and Mia Dyson also. There were just so many incredibly talented women. It was a real joy to share the stage with them, and we selected the songs that we wanted to sing as a group together, and Willy was amazing, did all these extraordinary arrangements. I sang them all so that they had them on tape to listen to. It was an incredible amount of work. We didn't do anything else for years. We just did that, but it was a great thing to do.
And so amazing to see women supporting women, because sometimes we don't do that enough.
Okay.
I think
I haven't noticed that. I feel like all the women in my life have been very supportive.
You're very lucky.
I am.
Yeah, you are. You're very lucky.
I feel lucky.
I wanted to also congratulate you, Member of the Order of Australia in 2020.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Also,
I'm wearing my little pin.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Also, 2022, the induction into the Victorian Music Hall of Fame.
Yep, that was nice.
Well done.
Yeah.
And something just a little bit from left field, because I've got to stop talking and let you sing us a song, but just a little bit different. Twice now you've had your portrait as a finalist in the Archibald 3 times.
I think it's 3 times, yeah.
Wow.
There was Rosemary Valadon.
Yes.
That was a very long time ago. Esther Ehrlich and Wendy
Spindler.
She did 2 portraits. I didn't like the first one. I don't think she liked the first one. She did a second one. Also, there's 4.
Oh wow.
And Lewis Miller. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah.
People want to paint my portrait, and I love it. I think it's amazing, because I love the fact that you are interpreted by someone else. The Lewis Miller portrait was quite controversial in our family. They all thought he made me look too old, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it looked full of character.
And forever now on canvas.
Absolutely, it's a kind
perpetuity.
of a legitimising kind of here I was.
Yeah. And speaking of art, I did want to do a special mention to the artists who did your artwork for the new album, because the new album is like, how do I put it delicately, about AI and its intrusion into music and that sort of thing. Is it ironic that it's an AI?
We did it.
You did it.
We talked about it, and it was Willy's idea.
Yeah.
So he put.
I love it.
He put the images into AI, and it got him immediately. And we just rolled around the floor laughing. It was so hilarious. It was just perfect. But it couldn't get me. And I'm like, come on, we've got to give it another photo. And he used, I don't know, there was like 3 or 4 different AI programs that he used in order to get me looking to pretty much how I look. I mean, the hair is fantastic, isn't it? It's so good.
Yes, that's what got me.
Oh, hair is so
amazing. Good. I just love it so much.
Me too.
And you, Willy, you just look like the archetypical, newsreader or something.
It's Natasha and Boris. It's perfect.
I'll just show you the picture. So, hey, there's the book.
What a shame. We've actually got colour ones in the car, but anyway, you can find them online.
Yeah, we'll overlay it
and insert them.
Yes, Mark's got the technology.
All right. Yeah, well done, Mark.
And this great cover of the new album, which we'll just talk about really quickly before you sing us a song from it.
Sure.
Great fun making it. It's a family affair.
So Right-Wing Propaganda is the title of the album, and it is a look back, I guess, on the last 5 very tumultuous years of this decade. We've gone through so much. We've experienced COVIDs and lockdowns and wars in so many different parts of the world, and AI, and the intolerance of what people are able to accept, and the breakdown of just civil discourse, I think, and the rise of intolerance. And I think, it was, and my industry, the music industry, has become quite intolerant, I think, of any view that falls outside
the box.
of a very prescripted set of views, and very happy to punish people for not falling within that prescribed set of views.
You can be cancelled. That's
right. Cancel culture. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. And it's touched us quite. Yeah, we've been scarred from it.
So these are songs you can trust.
And we've kind of lived through this stuff, and we think these are songs that actually mean something.
Yeah. And they're stripped back, aren't they? Right back.
We have recorded this album unlike most of the other, in fact, all of the other records that we've made, where we always use a drummer and a bass player and a keyboard player, and we laden up with lovely lush
layers,
overdubs, etc. But we've gone very sparse on this. It's just 2 guitars and 2 vocals, and the addition of our very talented 3 daughters, who came in one day towards the end of the recording session, immediately had a fight.
Oh yeah,
immediately, because that's their.
I've got 3 daughters too.
That's their MO.
Yeah, that's right.
Hilarious. You're going, no, listen, hey, we're adults now.
Yeah.
And then sang these songs that they'd never heard before so beautifully, made their mother weep, honestly.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And it's worth hearing. There's one of the songs we're not playing live because I can't possibly do it justice.
Yeah.
It's too beautiful. It's called I Don't Want to Let Go of You.
The album's available at all the gigs.
Yes, the album is available. We've got vinyl. We haven't made vinyl since I haven't made vinyl since 87, and Willy hasn't made it since 89. So for some reason, some crazy reason, enough people got in our ear and said, "You've got to make vinyl."
Yay!
And we went and didn't make vinyl. Please, make us not regret that decision.
Go to deborahconway.com.
Yeah, you can go to deborahconway.com or come to a gig.
Available digitally on all the other
Absolutely. You can
suspects.
stream it. You can,
Yeah. Awesome.
On everything. And there's a CD, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll make some music now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having a beautiful chat with us today and sharing about your family. I'm going to get out of this seat and invite Willy up with his guitar.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
First up, an absolutely beautiful song from the album. It's called Always. Deborah Conway and Willy Zygier, the insanely talented and genuinely beautiful couple, live from Crabtree Studios. And then we're going to take the show out with the title track from the album, Right-Wing Propaganda. Please enjoy.
Only ever you. I opened my heart to always. You can make me laugh out loud from under a black cloud while the skies are falling. When I can't see the way, to explain. It's tender to the touch, too much and not enough. Always in the middle of the night, in the early morning light, we're at a crowded party. It was only ever you I'd open my heart to. Always. It was only ever you I'd open my heart to. Always.
Really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Truth is a slippery thing. These words don't mean anything to you. They're like nothing at all. Tongue to the teeth, to the roof of the mouth. Lie to me, baby. I'll hear you out, hear you out, hear you out. Pain is what I say, but you don't like the way my pain might take away your pain. Tongue to the teeth, to the root of the cause. Don't beg me, baby, I won't fight your wars. Fight your wars. Fight your wars. Let's dance this dance round the floor for one more time. Yeah, 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 I will no longer pander to what you say with candor and love's right-wing propaganda. Yes, love's just right-wing propaganda. I still love you. Tongue to the teeth, to the roots that you lay. Cry to me, baby, there's not much to say. Much to say, much to say. Let's dance this dance round the floor for one more time. Dance this dance round the floor for one more time. Yeah, 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 yeah. Round, round, girls. Yeah, 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 yeah,
You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick. Thank you so much for joining me on the Still Rocking It podcast. Hope to catch you again next time. Get out when you can, support Aussie music, and I'll see you down the front.